Hello, sports fans. It is Friday, April the 24th, the year 2015. And as always, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Great to be back with you guys. Let's start in the NBA and the NBA Western Conference from last night, where the Golden State Warriors rallied from 20 points down on the road and beat the New Orleans Pelicans in overtime down in New Orleans, 123 to 119. Golden State takes a 3-0 series lead. What a job by Golden State, one of the greatest comebacks in NBA history. They're down 20 points on the road. They come all the way back. Curry hits the huge three with no time left in regulation, and then Golden State wins it in overtime. Curry with 40 points. What a player he is, and just a heartbreaking loss for New Orleans. New Orleans has a bright future. Davis looks like an absolute star. Maybe they get a few pieces around him. New Orleans' future looks bright, but Golden State absolutely stole this game last night. Great job by Golden State not giving up on the game and coming back. A few questions I have about Golden State as we move forward. Are they going to be able to play enough defense to win a title? Remember, they like to run and gun, like to go up and down the court. And remember, how are they going to be in a half court against a better team? I mean, in the NBA playoffs, it gets slowed down. You don't always run up and down the court. How are they going to be in a half court set? How are they going to be when things get tight against a good team? Like, say they're playing like a Houston Rocket team and they're down by like 6 points in the fourth quarter with like 5 minutes to go. How are they going to react? Now, they reacted great last night, but that's against New Orleans. That's a team they should beat. How about some of these bigger teams like a San Antonio, a Houston, a Cleveland? How are they going to react? So there's still questions I have about Golden State. Remember, this is uncharted waters for Golden State. I mean, they're an up-and-coming team. They haven't been in this position before. Steve Kerr is a new coach. Still a lot of questions for Golden State because I hear all these people saying it's a foregone conclusion. Golden State's going to win the title. Not to me, it's not. Not to me. There's a lot of good teams in the West. There's a bunch of good teams in the East. Golden State still has a lot to prove, but you have to love their team. You have to love Curry and Thompson. I mean, they are a fun team to watch. Their fans are great, and they absolutely stole that game from New Orleans last night. Golden State up 3-0. They're going to get through that series. Also in the Western Conference, Memphis is up 2-0 over Portland. Portland just has way too many injuries. Memphis will get through there. Houston up 2-0 on Dallas. Houston's going to win. This is not a vintage Dallas team. Rondo looks like he's not going to be back with Dallas. The best series out west is San Antonio and the Clippers, and that's just what we thought it would be. 1-1 after 2 games. The Spurs win Game 2 in overtime. I'll tell you, the Clippers had their chance in Game 2. Clippers are up 2 with the ball at home, less than 20 seconds to go. Griffin has that terrible turnover where he dribbles the ball off his knee. That leads to a Patty Mills foul on the other end. Mills is going up for a layup. He's fouled. Mills hits 2 free throws. Then Paul misses a shot at the buzzer. We go to overtime. It's all San Antonio in overtime. San Antonio just knows how to win. The jury is still out on the Clippers. Can the Clippers win these type of series? This would have been a monster win for the Clippers. They would have went up 2-0 in the series. They'd have home court. Now it flips. Now San Antonio has 2 games at home. I know Parker is iffy for Game 3. We'll keep an eye on Parker. He's a little banged up. But I don't trust the Clippers on the road here at all. Wouldn't shock me at all if the Spurs win 2 games in San Antonio. This is where the Clippers have to make their move. This is where they have to show you they are an elite team. They have to split here in San Antonio and get the home court back. I mean, until they do it, I have my doubts. I picked San Antonio to win this series. I'm still going to stay with it. I thought the Clippers had their chance in Game 2 and let it slip away. Clippers have to start winning those type of games, have to start winning these type of series. We'll see. Must watch tonight, Game 3 down there in San Antonio. Like I said, we'll keep an eye on Parker's injury. As far as the Eastern Conference, a lot of one-sided series. Atlanta is up 2-0 over Brooklyn. Atlanta's going to win there. Washington's up 2-0 over Toronto, and they won both games in Toronto, so Washington's going to get through there. Chicago up 3-0 over Milwaukee after Chicago goes into Milwaukee last night and wins, and Cleveland goes into Boston and wins. They're up 3-0. So you look around, there's a lot of one-sided series, 2-0, 3-0. The only competitive series in the NBA right now is San Antonio and the Clippers. That's what I was telling you a few days ago. In the NBA, you don't get a lot of upsets. The best team usually wins. You're seeing that here in the first round. I'll tell you, looking ahead to the second round, you're going to have some great matchups. Chicago, Cleveland, that is a gargantuan matchup. If Chicago has a healthy Derrick Rose, they can win that series. I mean, that looks like a tremendous matchup. And you're going to get some other good series. Atlanta, Washington would be good. Golden State, Memphis would be good. Houston against the winner of San Antonio and the Clippers would be good. So there's a lot of good stuff coming up in the NBA. As far as the NHL, let's start down in D.C. where the Washington Capitals beat the Islanders last night to take a 3-2 series lead. I have to give it up to Washington. Great job by them last night. I had my doubts about them. Now, I picked Washington to win this series in 7. But after the first 3 games, I was a little nervous. I was saying, here we go with the Capitals again. They're going to fall short in the playoffs. They lost Game 3 in overtime. I mean, here we go again with the Capitals. Capitals had that big win on the road in Game 4 in overtime, and then last night they flexed their muscles. Islanders scored first. After that, it was all Washington. Washington looked very impressive. We know they have the talent. Now Washington just has to finish this series. The Islanders look like they're running on fumes. They've had a big-time season, but this is uncharted waters for the Islanders. I mean, they may be running out of gas now. They looked like it last night. Washington was all over them. Now Washington's just got to, knock the Islanders out right now. I'm sure the Islanders will get a boost from their Coliseum crowd. Could be the last game of the Coliseum tomorrow. The crowd should be in a frenzy. It's a Saturday. The crowd's going to be going crazy. But if you're Washington in this series right now, Washington has the talent. They have the talent to go deep in the playoffs. They've had the talent for years. Let's see if they can do it this year. Let's see if they can polish off the Islanders. Elsewhere, the Rangers are up 3-1 against Pittsburgh. They win both games in Pittsburgh. The Rangers are going to win there. I'll tell you, Pittsburgh, very disappointing. They barely make the playoffs. Now they're going to go out in like 5 games here in the first round with all that talent. Crosby and Malkin and Fleury, and the list goes on and on. They're going to go out in the first round after barely making the playoffs. To me, the Penguins need a big-time coach. Maybe they can get Babcock, who's rumored to be leaving Detroit. Maybe they get someone like that. They need that type of coach here because it's just not happening for the Penguins. They should be better than this. The Rangers are going to get through there. Montreal's up 3-1 against Ottawa. Ottawa did stay alive the other night. Ottawa's been in every one of these games, but Montreal's won 3 or 4. There's no way Ottawa's coming back and winning this series. I'm sure they'll make it competitive, but Montreal will get through. How about Tampa Bay last night? What a job by them. They're down 2-1 in the series. They're playing Game 4 on the road. They're down 2-0 in the third period after being shut out in Game 3. They're looking at 3-1 down in the series. What do? They scored 2 third-period goals. Then they win in overtime. What a comeback by Tampa Bay. They get home ice back. Gutty win by Tampa Bay. And I know this is not a vintage Detroit team, but that was a huge win by Tampa Bay. 2-2 in that series, Game 5 in Tampa. As far as the Western Conference, St. Louis and Minnesota are 2-2. I'll tell you, this has been a strange series. Minnesota won Game 3 so easily. You're like, wow, Minnesota just crushed St. Louis. Minnesota looks like a solid team. They're going to get through here. It's going to be another, disastrous playoffs for the St. Louis. And then St. Louis in Game 4 just smacked Minnesota around. I mean, it was just unbelievable how different the teams were from Game 3 to Game 4 in just a 2-day span. So you're 2-2 there. Game 5 in St. Louis, that is shaping up to be a tremendous series. Chicago is up 3-2 against Nashville. Nashville stayed alive last night. I still think Chicago gets through. Game 6 in Chicago. I think Chicago wraps it up there. Anaheim sweeps Winnipeg 4-0. What else is new at Anaheim? They keep falling behind. They keep coming back and winning. The Winnipeg fans were tremendous. They're just not ready right now, Winnipeg, to win a series like this. By the way, you ever watch those ESPN graphics at the bottom of the thing and they say who has the best percentage to win a game? They say this team has a 63% chance of winning the series. They had Winnipeg a 51% chance of winning this series against Anaheim. Why? Anaheim had the best record in the Western Conference. They had home ice. Why in the world would they make Winnipeg the favorite? And this is supposed to be done by computers. What computer at ESPN or wherever they get this has Winnipeg the favorite in that series? That's why you can throw all that stuff in the garbage, as Marv Albert would say. What nonsense! Winnipeg a 51% chance to win the series on on some sort of computer data when Anaheim had the best record in the West. We saw how reliable that was. Anaheim wins in 4. Also, Calgary is up 3-2 against Vancouver. Vancouver did stay alive last night, Game 6 in Calgary. Vancouver did put Miller in net last night. I've been calling for it all series. Miller did play well. So Vancouver stays alive. Game 6 in Calgary. We'll see how that develops. I do like Miller in net for Vancouver. All right, so that's where you are in the NHL. You'll have a lot of good stuff in the NHL coming up very, very soon. As far as Major League Baseball, how about Kansas City getting into all these fights? They're fighting with Chicago. They're fighting with Oakland. They're fighting with all these teams. They continue to play good ball. Are the Mets ever going to lose? The Mets haven't lost in 2 weeks. I mean, my goodness, the Mets are on absolute fire, so they're doing a nice job. Yankees take 3 or 4 from the Tigers. Yankees are playing better. How about the Giants? I was saying the Giants the other day weren't playing well, and the Dodgers were playing so great. Giants sweep the Dodgers. That's the ups and downs of baseball, and that's why you can never count out the Giants. So that's your baseball. You still got all sorts of time in baseball. You're going to have ups and downs and all around with baseball. Way too much time to go in baseball. As far as this weekend, you want to catch a little boxing. You got Klitschko fighting at Madison Square Garden. I mean, I think the heavyweight division has been a disaster now for decades. I mean, what an absolute joke the heavyweight division is. But Klitschko is fighting this weekend at the Garden. And by the way, have you had enough of the NFL mock drafts? I mean, every time I switch on a channel, someone's doing another mock draft. I mean, I can't take it anymore. Last night they were doing a mock draft for rounds 2 and 3. Enough. I can't take it. Let's get to the draft. I mean, enough mock drafts. I mean, they got one player going to basically every team in the NFL. He's going here, he's going there, he's going in the second round, he's a good fit here, good fit there. I can't take it anymore. Let's get to the draft and see who everyone picks. I just cannot take it. Every channel I flip on, someone's doing a mock draft. They were doing a mock draft of round 3 yesterday. Give me a break. So I'm ready for the NFL draft. Enough of the mock drafts. I don't want to see any more Mel Kiper and his mock drafts and any more of that stuff. All right, so that's where we are. You guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. You guys got a lot of NBA over the weekend, a lot of NHL over the weekend. Make sure you watch the Spurs and the Clippers. That looks like a great series. You want to catch Klitschko. You know, you got a little boxing. Of course, you got your baseball. Next week, big week. Not only do we have NBA and NHL playoffs along with our baseball, but we got Pacquiao, Mayweather next week. We got the Kentucky Derby, believe it or not. How fast does time go? I feel like I was just talking about last year's Kentucky Derby and how bad the field was. Here we are a year later. We're back to Derby time again. So we got a monster week next week. I'll be back with you guys Monday. We'll get to it all. Thanks as always for the support. You guys have a great weekend. Stay safe. Try and catch some of these games, especially Spurs Clippers. I will talk to you Monday. Take care.